Hi, I'm Moby. Welcome to my studio. And I I wanted to talk about the song Little Mike, which I think might be called A Perfect Life. As I'm speaking to you, I don't know the name of the song, because as I might have mentioned, when I'm writing a song, I give it one name, and then when it's finally released, it has a completely different name. And the record hasn't been released yet, so maybe it will be called Little Mike. Maybe it's called A Perfect Life. But it's a song that I've done with my friend Wayne from the Flaming Lips. And originally when I wrote it, I just had a little microphone at my studio in New York and recorded a very simple chorus part. And so I actually have the original chorus part. You'll hear it's not very good.
No, we close our eyes. The perfect life is all we need.
But then as I worked on the song just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Doesn't mean it got better, just means I kept adding more drums and more strings and more guitars and more pianos, and it almost became this like obsessive compulsive disorder to see how much stuff I could add to the song. And then my original vocal sounded really thin, so I did what a lot of people do is I doubled the vocal to make them a little bit bigger. Saying,
oh, we close our eyes.
But they still, I don't have the biggest voice in the world, so they still sounded quite thin. And then Stent, my friend who's helping me produce the record, we had the idea of creating a huge choir. The problem with a huge choir is you need to rent a gigantic studio and have 150 people come in and teach them all the parts, and it's expensive and time consuming. So what I did instead was we took 8 people and went to a studio here in Hollywood and got these 8 friends of mine who are all really good singers to sing different parts on top of each other. So by the end of it, technically we had 150 people, even though it started out, it's 8 people singing different parts. So 8 people sounds like 150 people. And then all of a sudden, the vocals with Wayne from Flaming Lips, with his contribution as well, suddenly the vocals sounded quite big. So here's me on my own sounding very thin.
Oh.
And then here's with 8 people, 8 friends of mine, who we turned into a choir of 150 people.
Oh, we close our eyes. The perfect life is all we need.
And I think we actually have footage of us in the studio turning 8 people into 150 people. So maybe if we can find that footage, we'll edit it in here. And just because their vocals sound so good. So here's, once again, this is without me and without Wayne, just 150 people who are actually only 8 people. I'm sorry if that's confusing. Hopefully I've done a decent job of explaining it, but...
Oh, we close our eyes. The perfect life is all we need.
And that's how we got the gigantic choir for the song that is either called Little Mike or A Perfect Life. Thanks.